Section 16 of Captain Billy's Whiz-Bang, Volume 2, Number 18, March 1921. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Captain Billy's Whiz-Bang, Volume 2, Number 18, March 1921, by W. H. Fawcett. Read by Quartertone. Our Rural Mailbag. Dear Captain Billy, I heartily agree with you in the belief that man is a strange wild beast, and whenever he gets what he wanted, he wonders why he wanted it. That's why I'm on my way to Hot Springs singing the rheumatic blues. Sunset Slim. Aromatic Army Cook. Yes, I understand that the troop of Boston soldiers you mentioned moved to Seattle so they could live on the Sound. Blonde Beauty. I do not know what you mean by the expression, he has a Siberian dashboard, unless it's whiskers. Pay no attention to smooth French talk. He's bullying you. Abe Goldberg. No, I wouldn't advise you to locate your undertaking establishment in O'Rourke Park, Butte, Montana. You might as well sing Wearing of the Green in Piccadilly Circus if that's all the value you attach to your life. A. L. Tioga. Sorry we can't use your story about the barrel of apples and the sack of nuts by which the family rat was caught. Sweet Dottie. You say you do some awful things sometimes, but then it's only to keep warm. If that's your only reason, you had better postpone your new leaf turning until summer. Brigham in Young. We've heard your story before about the stenographer who got $25 a week and half her board. Bobby. I have heard that it goes good in cider. Misconstrue. You say you miss your husband so often. Do you mean when you throw things at him? Mama's in the kitchen singing alcoholic blues. Father's in the cellar drinking alcoholic booze. The Cemetery Blues. The graveyard is a mean old place. They lay you on your back and shovel dirt in your face. Blissful Ignorance. Coed. I want something to wear around the dormitory. Salesgirl. How large is your dormitory? Whistling to Hades. Two girls from the city were spending their vacation in a small town in the Middle West, and at the house where they were stopping was a devout old man who believed that the Blue Sunday laws should go into effect full blast. It so happened that the girls were in the parlor one Sunday morning playing the popular airs when the devout sir entered and said, "Do you know this is Sunday?" "Sure. What's the big idea?" "Do you know the 10 Commandments?" "Well, if you whistle the first 2 or 3 bars, I might get them." It isn't the things we've won and possessed that fills the coffers of life to overflowing. It's the things we've lost, the things that make for sweet memories. That's the sum and substance of life that endures. Memories and their lessons. This is March, the month when the wind is tempered either to the lion or to the shorn lamb, and soon the grass will be green and the wind will be tempered for the silk-clad calf. Oh, boys, I'll say we can anticipate. When the ball bearings of the new Association of Nations gets rolling smoothly, we understand that Jerusalem will be given to the Jews, Ireland to the Irish, Iceland to the Icemen, and New York City to the United States. A Church Scandal. The little man approached a saleswoman and sputtered, "You got me into a pickle, you did." "I don't understand," the girl replied timidly. "You remember when I came in here to pick out a silk dress for my wife, don't you?" "Yes." "And you remember we asked the assistance of the lady who was buying a kilty skirt for her little girl?" "Yes, yes." "Well, you got the parcels mixed, that's what you did, and I took that little kilty skirt home to my wife." "I'm awfully sorry, sir, but of course we can put that right." "How?" "I can change the skirt." "I know you can, but that isn't the trouble. My wife opened the parcel while I was away, thought it was the latest style, and wore the wretched thing to church on Sunday. Smith family accounted for. A Chicago schoolgirl in her history examination answered that Jamestown, Virginia was settled in 1607, and there were 120 deaths and 72 births in the first year, due to the efforts of Captain John Smith. Hubby for her. A lady heard that her 2 sons were in the habit, each at separate times and quite unknown to each other, of taking one of the maids out for a lark. Fearing to bring down on their devoted heads the wrath of their father by making a bother about it, she asked them quietly if it were true, but could obtain no satisfactory reply. It occurred to her that by a little strategy she might get the truth from one of the girls, so she said in a jocular manner, "Now, Mary, I want you to answer me candidly. Which of my 2 sons do you like going out with best, George or William?" "Well, ma'am," replied the maid, reassured by the lady's manner, "if you must know, of the 2 I like George the best, but for a downright good spree, give me the master every time." Can't, I'm Hitched Now, by Tad. If you don't feel just right, if you can't sleep at night, if you moan and sigh, if your throat is dry, if you can't smoke or drink, if your grub tastes like ink, if your heart doesn't beat, if you've got bad cold feet, if your head's in a whirl, why not marry the girl? You're not the only pebble on the beach. There's a Little Rock in Arkansas. Lingo of the lingerie. She was a fair-haired, fluffy little thing who had taken a position as a saleswoman in a department store. A few days later, she met a boy friend, and both stopped to have a little chat. "How do you like your job?" inquired the boy friend. "Oh, I like it very much," said the fluffy one. "Only they shift me about too much. At 12 o'clock I'm in hats, at 3 I'm in dresses, at 4 I'm in lingerie, at 6 I'm in stockings, and—" "I'll look you up tomorrow at 8, said he. Evolution of a flea. "The evolution theory," said the professor, "is that we all came from monkeys." "That's wrong," said the flea, biting him on his bald head. "I came from a dog." Only at night. "He does it when no one's about, just as we're going to bed," explained a Kingston wife, applying for separation against her husband, who, she asserted, was always tearing up her clothes, etc. End of section 16. End of Captain Willie's Whiz-Bang, Volume 2, Number 18, March 1921, by W. H. Fawcett.